Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Diaries. We will continue on here with a Sonic adventure, and I shall begin my tale. Tale the first. So this dream takes place in what seemed like a parallel universe or dimension. This was much the same as the one we have all come to know, with one key difference. Well, as a species, we had developed mutations. Not so much aesthetically, but more as a physical difference or change to our own structure, to our tissue, our genetics. The vast majority of people had developed to be stronger or faster, some smarter, some with the ability to see great distances, but I'm sure your imagination can take care of the rest and fill in the gaps. So, as I was new to this universe, this place, I spent some time cycling around and assessing the situation I found myself in, discovering more and more about these mutations and these people, forming my own little investigations, if you will. It came to a point when I grew hungry and I decided to go and grab a bite to eat. And as I sat there and ate, I laid eyes upon a man sat across the room from me. Couldn't quite place the feeling, but something felt odd. Something was suspicious about him and unsettling. So I decided to leave. And now, as with anything, there is the good and there is the bad. And unknown to me, this man was bad. So, this next part will hopefully lay an old myth to rest, because this man followed me as I left and interrupted my investigation very abruptly with a knife between my ribcage. This is where I died, unfortunately, on the cold hard floor of a local footpath. Nothing quite so glamorous, so I knew I was dead when I saw the man drag my body off to the corner of the path and hid amongst some bushes. Seeing this, I came to the conclusion that I must be a ghost, part of the other world. I find myself tied to this small fenced-off section of path where I was murdered, and through much effort I eventually managed to pull myself over the fence and get to the other side. However, by the end of this trial, it seemed that at risk of feeling like I'm ripping off the film Ghost, I somehow obtained the ability to use and affect objects within the world of the living. It was shortly after this that I found a detective and started to lead him to where my lifeless body lay, or at least attempt to. Yeah, I did this with the hope of leading him to my body and then, hopefully leading him to my killer. Eventually, I was able to communicate with him by writing and jotting scribbles of information onto whatever scraps of paper I could find and grab onto. However, looking back at it all, I really remember writing or at least recalling on these scraps of paper and numbers. I'm not really sure how that told him anything, but these things happen and it's dream logic. I then found myself drawing the attention of other ghostly beings, so it appears I was not the only one. Relating back to everything being good and bad, I can't say that these had the same interests in mind that I did. So now I found myself in the awkward position of not only trying to lead this detective around on some murder mystery caper, but also protect him from, shall we say, the others. As far as I can recall, we never found the killer, but I was somewhat happy that we'd managed to communicate. I guess when you're a ghost, you gotta take the little victories. I guess I spent the majority of this dream wondering if I possessed any of these mutations myself, and if so, what they could be. How would I discover this? Could I use them? Kind of brings into perspective the whole curiosity killed the cat ratio. But I'll never know if satisfaction brought it back. It only also occurred to me afterwards that perhaps that ghostly form may have had something to do with this different universe, the mutations. Maybe why this detective was helping me. Maybe he'd dealt with this before. Who knows? Maybe it was a common occurrence. However, it did seem quite unlikely to me. And so, on to tale number 2. In this dream, I recall a large group of people, myself included, have been invited to stay in a large villa in the woods. Some faces I recognized, and others I do not. However, I feel like they're all friends, although I can't remember half of them. So, we arrive, and are greeted by a lovely old lady with a long silvery hair that bounced when she walked. I don't know what it was about this woman, but she managed to repair the bonds that I shared between myself and a long-lost friend of mine. I say long-lost, but it's more like long since fallen out. So, needless to say, we are once again thick as thieves, and almost inseparable. We start to explore the expansive land that lays in all directions surrounding this villa. After some walking, we discover the villa is positioned right in the center of what seems like endless woodland. In as far as we had discovered, the only clearing that was not subject to the dense canopy of leaves and branches that lay above us. We pick a direction and decide to test just how far this woodland reaches, how far it expands. We came across countless mossy stone statues and stone busts, as well as the overgrown remains of old buildings that had been reclaimed by the forest itself. So, we've been wandering for what seems like ages, our perception being thrown off and obscured by the vast amount of shadows cast down from the canopy above. It was after this that the old woman uncloaked herself and became visible and revealed herself right in front of us. She had a gentle smile on her face, clearly meaning there's no harm, but there was a clear sense of worry in her eyes. She beckoned us to follow, and without any fuss, hesitation, or question, we did so. It was only on it was only on this walk back to the villa that I noticed the old lady was brandishing a weapon. It was a blade-like weapon attached to her arm, although it wasn't made of metal. It was made from what looked like energy, a weapon with a surprising resemblance to that of Zeratul, for all of those who are familiar with him. I never felt in dangers, and as we drew closer and closer to the villa, the woman seemed to become more and more at ease. She had a somewhat warming presence, which made me feel as if she had kept us safe this whole time. Maybe there was something out there that was dangerous. Maybe she had reached us just in time. And that brings me to the end of this dream diary, and to the end of this level. Just exit the casino now with our Chaos Emerald. Well, here comes Eggman anyway, and there goes our Chaos Emerald. Oh no, we don't indeed. Purple gas is knocking out. And once again, we will lose 1 emerald to Eggman. Well, yes, with that it will wrap up this episode, as I said, and thank you all very much for listening to my ramblings constructed from the notes of my dream diary, which I write when I wake up in the morning. Hope you've all enjoyed I hope you've all enjoyed this video, and if so, please feel free to like and subscribe. As always, your feedback is more than welcome, and please leave any comments in the comments section, I guess, if you'd like to tell me anything or suggest a game. I guess, last but not least, cheerio.